Today, I am with Mark Violand, who's an IICRC certified carpet inspector and an approved instructor, more than 40 years in the industry. He has a great reputation as one who can spot and sleuth out any flooring issue as an inspector. So if you're a carpet cleaning company or a hard floor care company, you might want to get to know Mark Violand. Mark, how are you today?
Jeff, I'm doing great. So nice to see you. Glad
Same
to
here.
participate in this with you.
Yeah, it's good to be together and talk about flooring issues. I guess a first question that would be good to talk about is, and an easy question, what haven't you seen in 40 years? Of course, you might not know what it is if you haven't seen it.
That's a good question, Jeff, because things change, things happen. There's just so many different things out in the industry, and I get called in to look at so many different things to diagnose.
Yes. And one thing we're going to talk about today is an article in Cleanfax that you wrote. It's actually in Cleanfax and Cleaning and Maintenance Management magazine as part of the IICRC Technical Tips series that we run. And so it's in the issue of Cleanfax, the latest issue. If you don't have it yet and you're a subscriber, it should be in your mailbox soon, or you can check out the digital version. But the article is about smells sell, and it's about carpet deodorizers. We see carpet deodorizers used all the time. I know in the residential setting, and I suppose in the commercial as well. But tell us, how often is this an issue that we should be aware of?
Well, it becomes an issue, Jeff. And again, one of the things to separate, it's used a little in the commercial industry, but it's used a lot in the residential industry because people don't want their homes to smell like dog or cat. More the doggy odors than anything. So one of the questions I ask a woman, a homeowner, being to be careful here, but have you ever used powder deodorizer? Oh, yes. Whatever's on sale at the store. How often do you use it? Every time I vacuum, like the label says. Oh, okay. So that's where it happens more often than not. There are times where I've seen it used commercially where, again, people will say, yeah, I sprinkle some because I want to make sure that the janitorial services is getting into my office and vacuuming, different things like that.
Yeah, the article's great. It has some pictures, some imagery. Can you explain some long-term issues by using these products? You mentioned how a homeowner might buy the powdered stuff and just sprinkle it every time they vacuum, might be used in a commercial setting. What does that do to carpet besides come back as you clean it? And maybe it'll show up the next day after it dries.
Yeah, well, one of the things that I get into great detail about, and again, that's my nature as the inspector, I have to get geeky sometimes. I can tell you what time it is, using the analogy of a watch. I can tell you what time it is. I can tell you how the watch is made, or if you really want to know, I can tell you what alloy the watch is made out of. What type of a report do you want, and what type of an article do you want? And with this, you have to get geeky. Why are these seams that I see in people's homes delaminating? Why is sprouting happening to the carpet? Why is the carpet losing its dimensional stability? And again, then I go into a great deal of testing, pH more than anything, and I'm getting high alkaline residues on the scale in comparison. So why are the seams opening up? Well, what causes that to happen? Well, I just don't teach the carpet cleaning technician class, Jeff. You also know that I teach the carpet repair and reinstallation class. So I'm looking at delamination. I go, okay, why did this happen? Can this be fixed? Well, always looking for an opportunity to fix things, but can this be fixed? Why did it break down? Well, when you're doing installation, gluing carpet direct to a concrete floor, you have to check the pH of the concrete to make sure that the adhesive that's being used doesn't crystallize, because then the adhesive crystallizes, then the carpet loses its bond. And as carpet cleaners, we're cleaning that carpet and you start getting these waves and bubbles on carpet that's supposed to be glued to the floor. So again, getting geeky here, what's happening in that carpet that's stretch and installed? The latex is breaking down. That laminates the primary backing to the secondary backing that gives the carpet dimensional stability so that when it's stretched, it remains stretched. But what's the weakest part of any installation? The seams. And everybody points to the dog. Well, the dogs are urinating on the seams. Maybe, let's check it out. And then I find high alkalinity, and again, the camera that I use in inspections, I can zoom in right on the primary backing of the carpet, and I see this white powder.
And that's the deodorizer being put into the carpet, building up over time. Vacuum cleaners can't pull it all out, so you have that issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's probably a report they don't want to hear.
Not the homeowners. And tell you that I've gotten calls from claims analysts saying the homeowner is saying that you ruined their carpet doing your inspection. I go, it was already ruined, and I don't do destructive testing unless I'm given permission to. So no.
Yeah. I imagine, Mark, if you were actually guilty of some of that stuff, you wouldn't have 40 years of doing this. So.
Thank you.
Hey, tell us this, Mark. We know that deodorizers are going to be used from time to time. Do you have any recommendations? Maybe not only to professionals, but any consumers who might be watching this?
Well, you say, can I condone? I just can't condone the use of powdered deodorizers that are calcium carbonate based, sodium silicate, because they're going to cause damage to your carpet. They're water soluble abrasives, great for the function they were invented for, not as a deodorizer. If you want to reodorize your rooms, there's lots of other options. And I talk about that in the article. And, have you considered just wax melts, potpourri, things of that sort? I'm not a fan of even the plugins. Again, I'm the inspector. Oils are attracted to plastics, and guess what carpet fibers are made out of? So there are alternatives. Just don't sprinkle them on your carpet.
Yeah. Great article, Mark. It's in Cleanfax latest issue, CMM as well. And of course, has the pictures to back it up. It shows some nice close-ups of fibers that have been damaged from these types of products. So if folks haven't seen this article yet, I encourage you to grab your copy, read it, and benefit from it. You don't want to be a cause of causing carpet issues yourself. We want things to smell good, but we want it to be the right reason.
Clean the carpet. That's the biggest deodorizer right there.
Yeah, I guess we forgot about that one. All right, Mark. Well, thank you so much.
Jeff, my pleasure as always. Take care. Bye.